I'm Rachel Bailey of rachel-bailey.com, and I'm a specialist in positive parenting and what I call perfection-free parenting. Because I don't teach parents how to parent perfectly, I give parents the education and tools they need that help them move from, I'm not sure if I'm doing this parenting thing the right way, to, I've got this. So I have a question for you. How much do your child's emotions and behavior control your emotions? So when your child is nervous or anxious and says, I can't do this, do you become frustrated and angry? Or when your child is struggling to do something difficult like tie his shoes or do her homework, does watching your child make you so uncomfortable that you just jump in and do it for them? So for those of you saying, of course that happens, and you can't imagine an alternative, I want you to know that it is possible for parents to feel calm and confident inside, no matter what their child is doing. When we're in this place, it's not that we're not concerned or don't care about our children. It's just that we are not reactive. So we have space to think about how we want to respond instead of reacting automatically. Now, the truth is, because we're human, we all get triggered by at least one of our children's behaviors. After all, we're programmed to be in tune with our kids. And when our children are really, really young, newborns and infants, it's important for us to be really in tune with their emotions. But as children get older, we need to learn to separate our emotions from theirs. Why is this so important? Well, I'm going to give you 3 examples of what happens when our children's behavior or emotion controls ours. So the first thing is that children often don't open up to us because they want to prevent our emotions. One of the biggest reasons that children keep things from us, especially as they get older, is because they're trying to avoid our emotions. When I was a therapist with teenagers, they would always say to me, oh, I can't tell my mom and dad this. It would make them too upset or too angry. So they would avoid saying anything at all. The second example of what happens when their behavior controls ours is that they don't learn to take responsibility for their own emotions. Again, when I used to talk to teenagers all the time, they would say things like, well, why should I care about doing my homework? I mean, I don't like doing it, and I know that not doing it will upset my mom or dad enough that they'll just do it for me. And lastly, another example of what happens when our emotions are tied to theirs is that it burns us out. Reacting to how everyone is feeling all the time is exhausting. So what can you do instead? The first thing is to recognize that your behavior and your emotions can actually be 2 different things. So for example, someone might say, I'm so afraid of public speaking, I can't get up and talk in front of people. But that's not actually true. The part of your brain that's afraid doesn't actually control your ability to move and do things. So you actually can get up and still do public speaking, even if you're petrified of it. So you can learn how to separate what you're feeling from how you behave and what you do. So here's an exercise that will help you do that. Think of a situation that usually triggers you and ask yourself, what would it look like if my child's emotion or behavior controlled my behavior? And then contrast that with, what would it look like if my child's emotion or behavior didn't control my behavior? So for example, if your child is angry with you and yelling at you, what it would look like for their behavior to control yours is that you would yell back and you'd probably enter into a power struggle. But what it would look like if their emotions and behavior don't control yours is that you would say to yourself, hey, my daughter is angry, but that doesn't mean I have to be angry. And then you could say to your daughter, I know you're upset, but I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. I'll walk away and we can talk again when we're both ready. If you actually practice determining the difference in your behavior, it starts to become automatic and you'll know what to do in order to detach your behavior from that emotion. Now, you might not be in this place yet because it does take a little practice. So I'm going to give you another tip for what to do where you are now if something happens in the moment. So my suggestion is when you feel an emotion and you want to do something, do the opposite. So if you're angry with your child and you want to yell, then whisper. Or if you are so frustrated that your child isn't listening to that you want to use all of your power to do something that you might later regret, sit down on the floor and become less powerful. Or if you feel like you want to judge your child and say, gosh, that was so stupid what you just did. Instead of using judgment, use curiosity. Just do the opposite of what you feel like doing. So what are the benefits of separating your behavior from your child's emotions and behavior? you'll feel like you're more in control, and you'll be modeling to your child how to not let their emotions control them. Now imagine what life would have been like for you if you had learned this skill earlier. When kids know that their behavior doesn't control your emotions, they'll feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you, and they won't rely on you to take care of the things that they don't want to do, like homework. So if you have any questions about this, or how to help you feel more confident about your ability to raise great kids, feel free to email me at rachel@rachel-bailey.com. I'll see you next time.